first, let's talk about the overlooked of the Paul Heyman guys before ranking the top 3. These are the ones who didn't quite reach the same heights as them, but they still deserve a mention. First up, Curtis Axel. Look, I'll give Axel credit. He had all the tools to be something great. A solid look, descending ring skills, and a pedigree as the son of Mr. Perfect. But pairing him with Paul Heyman didn't do much for him. Heyman did his best to hype Axel up as the future, but WWE didn't book him in a way that made people care. It felt like Heyman was trying to polish a product the company wasn't invested in, so Axel never got the chance to shine. Then you have Cesaro. Now this one hurts because Cesaro is an incredible wrestler. When Heyman started managing him after WrestleMania 30, people were hyped. They thought, okay, this is it, Cesaro's about to reach the next level. But instead, I feel like Heyman spent more time talking about the Brock Lesnar win over Undertaker than focusing on Cesaro. The partnership fizzled out before he even got going, and Cesaro went back to being underutilized. Ryback is next, and honestly, there's not much to say. His pairing with Heyman was forgettable at best. It felt like WWE just threw them together to see if Heyman could work some magic. But it didn't click. Ryback didn't have the charisma or presence to back up Heyman's promos, so it never worked. And finally, there's a Big Show. Do you even remember this? Because I barely do. Heyman managing Big Show just felt random. It didn't add much to Show's character, and it didn't elevate him the way Heyman has done for others. So yeah, while Paul Heyman has worked wonders with some talents, not every partnership has been a home run. Guys like Curtis Axel and Cesaro had potential but lacked the follow-through. Ryback and Big Show, they were just mismatches. Now for the top 3. At number 3, we've got CM Punk. Now here's the thing. CM Punk was already a star when he linked up with Paul Heyman, but that partnership took him to another level. Let's go back to 2012. Punk was in the middle of his historic 434-day WWE Championship reign. He was delivering banger matches, cutting killer promos, and proving he was the best in the world. So, what did he need Heyman? It wasn't about needing Heyman to talk for him, like with Brock. It was about adding an extra layer to Punk's character. Punk was already an anti-establishment rebel, but when you add Heyman to the mix, it made him feel even more dangerous. Heyman became his mastermind, this scheming puppet master who had Punk's back, and together they created chaos. Look at Punk's hill run with Heyman. The promos during this time, unmatched. Punk and Heyman had the chemistry that made you want to hate them. Remember the feud with The Rock? Punk was already great on his own, but with Heyman on his side, it felt like 2-on-1 war of worlds. And then there's a feud with the Undertaker leading to WrestleMania 29. Heyman made Punk's disrespect for Taker feel even more personal and vile. It was uncomfortable in the best way possible. But let's be honest, Punk and Heyman didn't last long enough to hit the heights of Brock and Roman. Their run together was memorable, but it wasn't as impactful over the long term. And that's the only reason Punk is number 3 on this list instead of higher. Still, when you think about Heyman guys, Punk is a name that always comes up. He didn't need Heyman to be a great talker, but Heyman helped Punk become one of the most hated and talked about stars during that era. Together, they created some of the most compelling TV of the early 2010s. Punk may not be the top Heyman guy, but is undoubtedly one of the most memorable. And number 2, we've got Brock Lesnar. And honestly, no one screams Paul Heyman guy more than Brock. From the moment Brock Lesnar debuted in 2002, Heyman was by his side, hyping him as the next big thing. And let's be real, without Heyman, Brock might have just been another dominant wrestler. Instead, Heyman turned him into a mythical beast. Here's the thing about Brock, he's not exactly known for his talking skills. Sure, he can say a line or two, but let's not pretend his mic skills will sell tickets. That's where Heyman came in. He became Brock's mouthpiece, hyping him up in a way no one else could. Every promo Heyman cut with Brock made you believe he was unstoppable. He didn't just call him the Beast incarnate. Think about the run Brock had after breaking the Undertaker streak at WrestleMania 30. Heyman's promo the next night, absolute gold. He hammered home the significance of the moment in the way Brock never could. Heyman turned that win into a career-defining moment, making Brock feel like an unbeatable master. And then there's Brock's ability to evolve with Heyman's help. In the early days, Brock was more of a traditional wrestler, but in his second run, he became this prize fighter who barely showed up but dominated when he did. That wasn't just Brock's doing. It was Heyman creating this aura around him. They never knew when Brock would show up, but when it did, it felt like a big deal. Even their splits in recent years showed how much Heyman added to Brock's character. When Brock came back as Cowboy Brock and started cutting his own promos, it was fun, but let's be honest, it didn't hit the same. Brock without Heyman is just like a missile without a launch button. Still dangerous, but not as effective. So yeah, Brock Lesnar is an all-time great. Then number 1 is Roman Reigns. Let's be honest, a few years ago, if you told me Roman would become one of Paul Heyman's guys, I'd have laughed. This is the same guy who got booed for years. WWE tried everything to get fans to cheer for him, and none of it worked. The Royal Rumble win? Booed. Main events at WrestleMania? Booed. Fans just weren't buying into him as a babyface. Then 2020 happened. Roman comes back at SummerSlam, aligns with Paul Heyman, and boom, with the Tribal Chief, everything changed. The pairing was genius. Heyman gave Roman a new layer of confidence. He doesn't have to say much anymore. But when it does, you feel it. It's calculated, it's menacing, and it's believable. Plus, look at what Heyman has done for Roman's entire presentation. The slow entrances, the mind games, the familiar drama, the bloodline. All of it is elevated because Heyman knows how to tell a story. And the beauty of it, Roman feels like a guy who's truly in control. Heyman isn't just a manager here, he's like Consigliere's to a more boss. And let's not forget Roman's dominance. We're talking about the guy who's held the Universal Championship for over 1,000 days. That's not just great booking. That's Heyman selling every match, every promo, every feud like it's the biggest thing in wrestling. The Bloodline storyline, one of the best arcs WWE has produced in decades, and Heyman's fingerprints are all over it. Roman went from being the guy fans couldn't stand to the guy everyone has to watch. That's Paul Heyman's magic, and that's why Roman Reigns is the best Paul Heyman guy of all time.